My name is John Boyle. I'm the president of the Irish National Teachers Organisation. My colleagues from every single constituency in the Republic of Ireland and I are here today because we have key priorities in advance of Budget 2018. We've actually 5 priorities, the first one being the perennial priority for INTO, and will remain so until we are back down to the EU average class size. We're 4 or 5 children per class above the EU average. We have commitments in the programme for government and in the supply and confidence deal to say that we will have reductions in class size. We had none last year, we had some the previous year, so we want to continue the trend downwards year on year, at least a reduction of 1. The second priority for us is support for school leadership. That has remained a priority in the last 10 years. The benchmarking award of payment to principals hasn't been paid. We had some small restoration on the promotional posts of responsibility in last year's budget, but we actually lost 5,000 support posts for principal teachers who are under pressure in their schools. We're hoping to have further progress made on that issue this year. And indeed for the teaching principals who have the most difficult job of all, we're looking for 1 release day per week. We have 2 days per week in Northern Ireland, just up the road. So we're hoping to start with 1 and then obviously afterwards work towards 2. Not a huge cost for that, but certainly a big priority. The third issue then is educational disadvantage. We have a new GEST programme for disadvantaged schools. It doesn't go nearly far enough to address the difficulties that children experience, particularly in the lower classes. And obviously if we're looking for 20 to 1 in the ordinary class, in a disadvantaged Band 1 school, we'll be hoping to see a reduction of class size to 15 to 1 in the junior classes. This has been a commitment of government for over 20 years and hasn't been delivered. And other supports that were withdrawn from GEST schools, we want to see a start at the reinstatement of those supports as well. And the fourth issue, and we have a card for each politician to take away, the fourth issue is to do with school funding, which is obviously a big bugbear for me as a school principal myself. We had a 15% reduction in the funding for primary schools during recessionary years. That equates to about €30 per child. In last year's budget, there was a huge increase in the amount of capitation paid to sheep, yet the amount of capitation paid to a primary school child was reduced last year again as the economy rose. So we want to see major movement on school funding with priority for primary. And this has been a 60-year issue for us. The secondary have had far higher funding than primary. It's time it was equalised. And then the last issue, and it's not a cost issue at all, but it's certainly a big moral issue for us, the teacher supply issue. This week the Minister has announced to deal with the crisis that retired teachers and student teachers will be used to teach classes. We cannot understand why, when a government has 4 years notice of the children coming into primary, how they cannot provide teachers in advance because it's a 2 or 4 year course to train a teacher. So we're very, very keen to see more places in the colleges of education so that in 4 years' time this teacher supply crisis will be over. And one key way to deal with that issue would be to establish a supply panel of substitute teachers, something that we had in the past. It would stop some of the teachers who are emigrating because they would have continuity of work guaranteed, and it would mean that principal teachers could depend on having somebody available locally to do the substitution. So 5 key issues, about 50 million in total in costs out of a huge education budget. So it's not a huge ask, and we're hoping it will be delivered in a couple of months' time.